out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Financial Flourish Podcast, the place where you learn how to achieve financial peace through reducing your pressure points by using simple systems. I'm your host, Michele Pemberton, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Last episode was entitled, You Don't Have a Spending Problem, You Have a Pressure Problem. I told you this episode will be about systems that reduce financial pressure points, and that's exactly what I'm focusing on today. What are pressure points, you may ask? And as a recap, these are the moments where money starts to feel heavy, the moments where stress shows up, the moments where you start overthinking, avoiding, or reacting. Today is not about controlling every dollar. It's about identifying those pressure points and putting simple systems in place so money doesn't keep hijacking your peace. Financial peace doesn't come from doing more, it comes from deciding less. Before we get into specific systems, I want to explain why systems matter so much. Because if you don't understand this part, everything else just sounds like tasks. Most financial pressure doesn't come from a lack of money, it comes from uncertainty. That is why even persons with a lot of money can still experience financial pressure. Not knowing what's coming out next, what's already been spent, whether something was forgotten, or how close you are to the edge. That uncertainty lives in your body, not just your bank account. It shows up as checking your phone nervously, avoiding your accounts, replaying money decisions in your head, and feeling tense when you swipe your credit card. Those are pressure points. And so the question is, what causes pressure point? You're asking. Pressure is created when your brain has to constantly stay on alert. When nothing is decided ahead of time, your brain is always working. Did I forget something? Can I afford this? Should I be worried right now? That constant mental checking is exhausting. Systems reduce pressure because they decide things before stress even shows up into the room. Pressure also comes from carrying too much in your head. Most people are not bad with money, they're just carrying too much of it in their head. They're trying to remember bills due date, balances, spending limits, upcoming expenses, past mistakes. And when your brain is holding all of that, something eventually gives. You either avoid it, you overspend, you shut down, or you react emotionally. So systems step in and say, you don't have to remember everything. That alone lowers the pressure. So, how do these systems help? So, there are a number of ways. One, systems turns unknowns into knowns. One of the biggest pressure point is the unknown, and it's not just in your financial life, but also in every aspect of your life. Not knowing is stressful. Once you know, even if the numbers are not perfect, it's so much calmer for you. So, what a system does then, it turns, I think I'm okay, into, I know where I stand. It turns, I hope nothing surprises me, into, I already planned for this. And that's a very powerful shift. Pressure thrives in ambiguity, peace grows in clarity. And peace is what we are trying to establish. Number two, system reduce the number of decisions you make. Every decision costs energy. Should I move money? Can I spend this? Do I need to check again? When you're making those decisions over and over and over again, decision fatigue sets in. And decision fatigue leads to impulsive spending, avoidance, guilt, frustration. System removes these repeat decisions. They decide once and then repeat automatically. This also lowers your pressure. And number three, Systems create emotional safety around money. This matters more than we talk about. Once you have systems in place, money stops feeling like an emergency all the time. You stop feeling like one mistake will ruin everything. One forgotten bill will spiral out of control, or one bad week means failure. Systems create emotional safety because they catch things early. So instead of, oh no, how did this happen? You get, okay, I see this and I can adjust it. That's a big difference. So your systems should not be complicated. If you have a system that is complicated where you have to constantly check it, you have to be perfect in your execution, it takes a lot of time, then it will eventually fail because you want a simple system that runs quietly, that require minimal effort and still function when your life is busy. The whole reason for having a system is not to manage your money harder, but to reduce the moments where money creates stress. So, as we walk through these systems today, I want you to keep this in mind. Ask this question: what pressure point does this system remove? Because the right system doesn't just organize your money, it gives you back mental space. And we spoke about mental capacity in our last episode. You need that mental capacity so that you can start having a peaceful life. So, we're going to look at three systems, simple systems that you can put in place. And the first one is the weekly money check in. Now, let's look at what it actually looks like in real life. For most of you, it starts with hesitation, opening up the bank app and wanting to close it. And then you're thinking, I'll check later. That hesitation is a pressure point. It's the pressure of not knowing. If you institute a weekly money check in, it directly reduces that pressure point. Once a week, you answer four questions. What's in my checking account? Two, what's in my savings? Three, what went out this week? And four, what's coming up next? That's it. No fixing, no judging, just awareness. When people avoid this, pressure builds up. When people do this consistently, pressure drops. Because awareness creates calm, but avoidance creates anxiety. System number two: automation for stability. Another major pressure point is the fear of forgetting something. Automation reduces that pressure. It's the reason that you don't lie awake wondering if you missed a bill. It's the reason the way payday doesn't turn into panic. And I've been there where I'm thinking, oh my gosh, did I miss a bill? And I'm sure it happens to you as well. In real life, though, automation looks like your bills are paying themselves, your savings move automatically, and your minimum debt payments are happening without reminders. When you handle the important things first, your mental load decreases. So, automation is not laziness, it's a pressure relief. So let's talk about this because spending is not stressful because you don't care. Spending is stressful because you're making decision in the moment over and over and over again. And believe it or not, those moments add up. The question, can I afford this? It might seem small, but when you're asking it 10, 20, 30 times a week, it becomes exhausting. That's a pressure point. Now, let me add a disclaimer here. Having your bills automated can cause you to be removed from what's going on and not check your bank account. So, you need to just be aware of this and make sure that you're checking your bank account and that the right amount is coming out of your account. I do not really like to automate all of my bills, and I do not automate all of my bills because I still want to have some control over some of the bills. If I have an amount that is the same every month, I don't mind automating. But if the amount varies monthly, I'll pay it. Thank you very much. I've heard so many stories of persons getting a light bill or water bill debited from their account in the thousands of dollars because someone made a mistake. I don't want to fall into that category. And so that's something that you might want to think about as you implement the system. The other point that I want to make here is that you can have a minimum due on your debt automated so that you avoid late charges, but then you need to go back in and make the balance of the payment since you should not be paying just the minimum balance. Just a note for that. Now, the third system that we're going to look at, third and final, is spending boundaries. A spending boundary is not a detailed budget. It's a clear rule you decide before emotion enters the picture. A boundary answers the question, how does spending work in my life? And let's look at some real life examples. Example one, weekly discretionary spending boundary. This is one of the simplest and most effective boundaries. You decide, this is how much I spend each week on everyday flexible stuff. That includes groceries, your coffee, your nails, your takeout food, gas, small conveniences that you have. And you can decide that it's going to be $150 a week. When that money is there, you spend freely. But when it's gone, you pause. No guilt, no shame, no spiraling, because the decision was already made. This boundary removes the pressure point of how much have I spent already? There's no pressure because you already know. The second example is the 48-hour pause boundary. And this one we've spoken about in previous episodes. So you should know this one by now. So this would be any non-essential purchase over a certain amount requires a 48-hour pause. And this would be things like clothes, electronics, home decor, or online purchases. If it's not a bill and it's not essential, wait 48 hours before buying it. Not to punish yourself, but to give your emotions time to settle. And I think it was Dr. Singletary who spoke about this in detail about waiting instead of just jumping and trying to buy things online right away. And why does this work? It works because it interrupts your emotional spending. It reduces your regret and it protects peace on impulse heavy days. You know, those days when you're just so tired and you think that you just deserve whatever it is you're scrolling and looking at the time, give it 48 hours. The third example is that you will separate bill money from spending money. So this is a boundary that many people don't realize that they need. So you might not even think that you need this. So instead of keeping all of your money in one account and constantly doing the mental math, just separate it. You have one account for rent, mortgage, utilities, insurance, all those fixed obligations that you have, and then open another account for your day to day spending. So now you don't have to ask, is this bill money or spending money? That pressure disappears. The system answers the question for you. Now, people are afraid of boundaries because they think boundaries mean less freedom. But the truth is that boundaries create clean freedom. When you know the rules, you stop second guessing yourself. You don't replay spending decisions later. You don't spiral out of control. You don't feel like you did something wrong. Boundaries replace guilt with clarity, and clarity is calming. I know this has helped me a lot, having the boundaries to protect me from those days when I'm tired, I'm stressed and emotional or overwhelmed, and all I'm thinking is, I should just buy it. I need it. The system carries that weight for you and you don't have to worry about it. Now, if you have a system that is overwhelming, that you have to spend so much time on, then you need to make some adjustments because the system should not create another pressure point, it should reduce it. So, and you're free to do that. You're free to make an adjustment. You can increase the amount, you can change the timing, you can simplify the rule. Whatever it is you have to do to make that system work for you, where you are, try it. Now, the system should help you to build some peace in your life, right? So, if you have too many accounts, if you're constantly system switching and saying maybe this is a different system I should use, or you're copying influencer setups, then you've created a complex system that creates pressure. And what you should do is create one that gives you peace. The rule is if a system cannot be implemented on the busiest periods in your life, then it's not a right system for you. So make an adjustment and create a system that makes your life easier, not increase your pressure points. Now, every system we talk about today has one purpose: to reduce pressure points. The pressure of not knowing, the pressure of forgetting, the pressure of constant decision making. When those pressure points are reduced, money stops feeling heavy. That's when peace becomes possible. Not because life is perfect, but because systems are supporting you. So, the three systems that I recommend today are: one, awareness, which is the weekly check in; two, stability, which is automation; and three, decision relief, which is spending boundaries. My prayer is that you will be able to apply even one of these systems in your life as you march towards financial freedom. Next time, we'll be doing a walkthrough of a weekly money check in, so don't miss it. Tell a friend about the podcast. Be sure to connect with us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and we have just added another channel this week, and it is Amazon Music. So until next time, implement a simple system that supports your financial life, and don't forget to flourish.